Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to the space of possibilities with Rachel. And today, on this brisk afternoon, I'm going to be exploring, this time not a book of access consciousness, but one of the reference materials that I happen to handily have open on my phone and that I explored. So, how does it get any better? Everything that I speak about here is based on the access consciousness tools. I'm a certified facilitator of access consciousness, amongst other things. I'm also a mom. I'm also freezing ass cold. All of that kind of stuff. So, the good stuff. Um, and I'm just going to start. How does it get any better than that? I will say, if you're watching this in the Space of Possibilities Facebook group, I shared a video earlier in the day on the group. It's also in the Being You Without Hiding group, if I'm not mistaken, that Helen Gitlovich, one of my favorite people on this planet, who just flew out to the Ukraine on Monday to be able to contribute to change and to possibilities out there by being present, by being a different energy. And God, I want to cry, but not from sadness, just this immense gratitude for this being who's so marvelous and so brave and so willing to step forward and choose something that most people wouldn't be choosing. Usually there's bombings and invasions and whatever else going on, and the world turns and looks in another direction. My friend Helen headed right into the eye of the storm, because from there and from her willingness to be an allowance, from her willingness to be a different space, a different invitation, a different possibility, she can create and affect things from there by being her. And if you have not had a chance to watch her Zoom, it's like an hour and 10 minutes. I've already played it 3 times today, in tears and gratitude. And maybe it can contribute to you as well. It was in our kind of middle of the night sometime. I was sick, was on live, but I've replayed it. And there were so many different tools that she was using, but what kept coming up for me is the truth of us is not us being American or Russian or Soviet or Ukrainian or Israeli or whatever else. We're not all these things that we thought we were, that we've been told we were, that we've defended that we were, that we've pretended that we were. We're not any of those things. We're infinite beings. And if the concept of infinite to you, I would highly recommend to pick up a book that I was reading some snippets from a couple of videos ago, which is called The 10 Keys to Total Freedom. And the first one is to recognize that you're an infinite being. An infinite being can't be contained in one definition, in one even one lifetime or one type of gender or one type of body. It's how we've shown up to get a particular flavor, to have a particular experience, etc. But it's not who we are. So, if it's not who we are, then what are we? Well, as infinite beings, one of the things that we speak about in the Access Consciousness Foundation classes, and if you haven't had one of those, maybe get thee to a bars class and to a foundation class. There's so many around the world, by different facilitators. I'll be facilitating one as well, I hope, after the Global Foundation class. Um, and it's beautiful. The Global Foundation class, by the way, will be live streamed. So you could be anywhere around the world or in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and you can enjoy the foundation class with the founder and the co creator of Access Consciousness. But what do I love about it? I love that we can look and we can speak about things from a different perspective than the rest of the world does. So, like in Helen's Zoom that I saw, you could go into fight, you could go into angst, you could go into all of these things, the anger, the rage, the fury, the hate, that just escalates conflicts, escalates difficulties. Or you could look at it and go, what else is possible here? And recognize that you are beyond whatever you think you are. There's far more to you than meets the eye. So, one of the things about being an infinite being is that your energy, your space, and your consciousness. And whenever I say this in almost every video that you hear me speak about energy, space, and consciousness, I mention my friend who's was a certified facilitator in Israel, who said to me that the acronym for energy, space, and consciousness in Hebrew is Energia Merchav Toda'a Emet. If you take the first letters, Emet is a Hebrew word for truth. And you find it in lots of different places. It's on different church buildings, on different all sorts of stuff, but they'll say emet. Well, emet is truth. And the truth of you is that space, that energy, that consciousness, if you're willing to embrace it and you're willing to be it. So I'm going to read us a wee snippet from the reference materials about energy, space, and consciousness, and I do hope that you enjoy it. We're interested in getting you to the point where you can recognize that it is about the energy, the space, and the consciousness, which is the way to generate a different life, a different possibility for you. So run this clearing 30 times a day for 30 days and see what shows up. What generative energy, space, and consciousness can I be that would allow me to be the totality of me? Everything that doesn't allow that to show up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. When you are being energy, space, and consciousness, then you know exactly what you have to say, be, or do in order to get people to communicate with you, deliver to you what it is that you desire. And until that point, because usually in this reality we function with force, with impelling our points of view. But generally, I think I went a little further ahead than what I intended to read, but that's all right. Until that point, you try to function with matter, with energy, with space, and with time, as though you create from that reality. There's a whole section above about in time as the elements of the universe, but what if it's energy, space, and consciousness? What do you perceive as lighter for you? Truth will always make you feel lighter and more expansive. So run this clearing now also 30 times a day for 30 days and see what shows up. And after I read the snippet, we'll review the clearings. We'll run them a few times. What generative energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be that would allow you to be the generative energy, space, and consciousness you truly be? And everything that doesn't allow that to show up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Look at it. It's the generative. I just perceive the energy, generative energy, space, and consciousness that you truly be. There's no force, there's no control, there's no containment, there's no definitions, there's no having to have things in any particular way. There's this relaxation, the generative knowing that you know, being that you be, perceiving that you perceive, and receiving with no barriers. It's amazing. So let's run it again. I'll read the snippet and we'll run it a few more times. You and your body be that would allow you to be the generative energy, space, and consciousness. And everything that doesn't allow that to show up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine short. Energy, space, and consciousness are the source for generating possibility. Every choice and every contribution you are willing to receive, energy, space, and consciousness of things, your life begins to expand and you also start to come out of the contextual reality. And what's contextual reality, you might ask? It's where you're trying to make yourself just like everybody else. and stick your piece of the puzzle rather than being the space of you and the possibilities that are available beyond this reality. You stop trying to function from the five cornerstones of reality, and you start to have possibilities, choices, questions, and contributions. When you function from there, more shows up than you've ever had, and your life can be more expansive, more dynamic, greater than it's ever been before. If you do not have energy involved in what you're doing, does anything get accomplished? If you do not have the space to be aware, not impacted, but aware of everything, do you have possibilities? And if you have the consciousness to know what is happening and where it's going, can you generate something different? If you want to generate something different in life, you must have energy, space, and consciousness. When you're using unconsciousness or anti consciousness, you are constructing your life. Another brick in the wall, anyone? When you're using energy, space, and consciousness, you are generating your life. And that is a different dynamic. That's far more expansive. Creation is where you are doing something. Do. The way we've defined creation here is more like construction. If you're being the energy and the space of what generates things, things happen as if by magic. Have you ever said, I'd like to have more money in my life, and more showed up? That's generating, doing from request, which is consciousness. Question the source for consciousness. And I love this, especially when we're looking at, like Helen asked a lot of questions before she boarded the plane to Ukraine. And she got that her being there would create a different space, a different energy, and a different possibility. Her being willing to step into there and be the space and the magic and the knowing and the possibilities and the request that she bees could transform something, perhaps from far worse to something far easier. So, where are you not requesting things in your life? Where are you functioning from the obligation of living, the obligation of surviving, rather than the choice, the request, and the elegance of requesting, contributing, asking, perceiving, receiving, playing with that energy, the space, and the consciousness that you be? So let's read that clearing again. Here we go. What generative energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be that would allow you to be that generative energy, space, and consciousness you truly be? Anything that doesn't allow that, times a zillion, will you destroy and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And you can go to theclearingstatement.com for more information about the funky words that I'm using. It's all scrolling beneath this video. What generative energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be that would allow you to be the generative energy, space, and consciousness you truly be? And anything that doesn't allow that, times a godzillion, will you destroy and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. What generative energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be that would allow you to be the generative energy, space, and consciousness that you truly be? And anything that doesn't allow that, times a godzillion, will you destroy and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Cold handy here. What generative energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be that would allow you to be the generative energy, space, and consciousness you truly be? Everything that doesn't allow that to show up, will you destroy and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. And what generative energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be that would allow you to be the generative energy, space, and consciousness you truly be? And everything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion will you destroy and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pog, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Um, Now, let me see if I remember offhand. One of my favorite clearings is being out of control. Why? Because that's totally being the energy, the space, and the consciousness of you. So, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracle, mystery, possibility, power, and potency beyond this reality can you and your body be to be out of control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, and significance, out of linearities, out of concentricities, and beyond any reference point of this reality with total ease, joy, and glory for all eternity. And anything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And let's just do the mantra for 5 times, just for giggles. Why not? All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. And repeating that mantra is really asking to be that spaciousness, that receiving, that change that you can be. It's celebrating that infinite being that you be, kind of all in one little mantra. Um, so, what would it take for more of us to embrace that? And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye bye. Thank you for being here.